Repeated cycles of unfulfilling relationships often feel like a curse, don't they? It's as if you're caught in a revolving door of hope and heartbreak, constantly asking yourself, why does this keep happening? But let me tell you, these moments are not about punishment. They are about preparation. They are about growth. They are about God refining you and shaping your understanding of love, relationships, and your worth. Every failed relationship, every disappointment, and every heartbreak carries a lesson. When you take the time to reflect, you'll realize that each of these experiences reveals something about yourself, about others, and about the kind of love God intends for you. These cycles are like a mirror, forcing you to look within and confront your patterns, your desires, and perhaps even your flaws. You see, God doesn't waste pain. He uses it to teach you, to grow you, and to mold you into someone who can both give and receive the kind of love that is aligned with His purpose. Sometimes the lesson is about discernment. How often do we ignore the red flags because we want to see the best in someone, or because we think we can fix them, mold them into the partner we need? God doesn't want you to settle for a love that is forced or conditional. He wants you to recognize when a relationship isn't His best for you. That's why the same patterns keep surfacing until you learn to listen to His guidance, until you stop trying to make things work on your terms and start surrendering to His. And let's talk about standards for a moment. You might find yourself in relationships where you're giving so much more than you're receiving, constantly compromising your values, your boundaries, your peace. Why? Because deep down you fear being alone. But let me tell you this, God will allow you to experience these one-sided relationships to show you what love is not. He will make it clear that love doesn't deplete you, it nourishes you. Love doesn't demand you to shrink, it encourages you to grow. These cycles are His way of reminding you to honor yourself as His child, worthy of a love that reflects His grace and goodness. Now let's shift the focus inward. Sometimes these repeated experiences aren't just about the people you're attracting, they're about who you are in those relationships. Are you truly ready to be the kind of partner you're praying for? God doesn't just prepare the person He's sending into your life, He prepares you too. That's why He allows these cycles to happen, to hold up a mirror and ask, what do you need to change? What wounds do you need to heal? What fears do you need to let go of? Because the right relationship won't fix you, it will complement the wholeness you've already embraced within yourself. You might ask, why does God allow it to hurt so much? The truth is, pain has a way of getting our attention like nothing else can. It shakes us awake and forces us to grow. Think about the Israelites wandering in the desert for 40 years. They weren't lost because God didn't have a plan. They were wandering because they weren't ready for the promised land. In the same way, God isn't withholding the person He has for you out of cruelty. He's waiting until you're ready to appreciate, cherish, and nurture the gift of that relationship. And here's the thing about these cycles. They're not meant to break you. They're meant to build you. To build your faith, your resilience, your understanding of what love really means. To build your ability to trust God's timing instead of rushing into something that isn't meant for you. So, if you find yourself in another relationship that feels like deja vu, don't despair. Instead, ask yourself, what is God trying to teach me in this season? What patterns do I need to break? What does He want me to see? Because when you finally learn the lesson, the cycle will stop. You'll no longer find yourself drawn to relationships that leave you feeling empty or unworthy. Instead, you'll attract a love that aligns with God's purpose for your life, a love that feels like home. And when that happens, you'll look back on all the heartbreak, all the tears, all the waiting, and you'll see that it wasn't wasted. It was preparation. It was God's way of saying, I was saving you for something better. So the next time you feel frustrated by these cycles, remember this. God isn't just writing your love story, He's shaping your character. And the moment you stop chasing what's not meant for you and start trusting what God has for you, everything will change. Until then, hold on to the truth that His plans are always worth the wait. And here's the takeaway. You don't have to settle for less than God's best. Trust the process, learn the lessons, and believe that the love He has for you will be worth every tear, every prayer, and every moment of waiting. God's plans are often revealed in the quiet moments, the subtle shifts, and the whispers of our hearts. When he is trying to guide you toward the person he has chosen for you, he does so in a way that leaves no room for doubt. But often we're too distracted by our own expectations or fears to notice. One of the most powerful signs that God is aligning you with the right person is the deep and undeniable sense of peace that surrounds the connection. This isn't the fleeting excitement of infatuation or the temporary rush of attraction. This is a profound and steady calm, the kind that only comes when God is in the center. When you meet someone and your spirit feels settled, that's worth paying attention to. It's not about the absence of challenges, because every relationship will have its trials, but about the presence of a peace that surpasses understanding. It's the kind of peace that quiets the noise of doubt, that silences the voice in your head, questioning if this is right. God's peace isn't just a feeling, it's a confirmation. It's him saying, I've got this under control. This is part of my plan for you. But let's be real, peace doesn't always come easily. Sometimes we resist it because we're clinging to our own ideas of what the right person should look like, sound like, or be like. We have a checklist, a vision board, a timeline, and when someone shows up who doesn't fit neatly into our expectations, we dismiss the peace God is offering us. We convince ourselves it can't be from him because it doesn't look the way we thought it would. But God isn't confined by our expectations. His plans are always bigger, always better, and often very different from what we imagine. This is where trust comes in. Trusting God means being willing to let go of your own plans and lean into his. It means recognizing that his peace is more reliable than your preferences, more enduring than your emotions, and more fulfilling than your fantasies. When you feel that peace, even if it challenges your expectations, don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it. Lean into it. Pray about it. Seek God's wisdom and ask him to reveal his will to you clearly. He's not the author of confusion. If this person is meant for you, he will make it clear in ways that only he can. You'll also notice that this peace extends beyond the two of you. The right relationship will bring harmony into your life, not chaos. It won't disrupt your relationship with God, it will deepen it. The person God has for you will encourage your faith, not challenge it. They'll inspire you to grow closer to him, to lean on him, to trust him more. That's one of the most telling signs that you're on the right path. The relationship becomes a partnership that glorifies God. It's not just about what you bring to each other, it's about what you bring to him together. And let's talk about alignment for a moment. When God is guiding you towards someone, you'll find that your lives start to align in ways that feel almost effortless. Your values, your goals, your visions for the future, they'll complement each other in a way that feels natural, not forced. This doesn't mean you'll agree on everything or that there won't be differences to navigate, but the core of who you are and what you stand for will resonate with each other. And that's where the peace comes from. It's not about perfection, it's about alignment. It's about two people walking in the same direction, with God leading the way. Now, does this mean you'll never feel nervous or uncertain? Of course not. We're human, and stepping into something new, even something divinely orchestrated, can be intimidating. But there's a difference between nervousness and unease. One is about stepping out of your comfort zone. The other is about stepping out of God's will. Pay attention to the difference. If the peace is there, even amidst the nerves, that's a sign to move forward. So how do you nurture this peace once you've found it? You stay rooted in prayer. You keep seeking God's guidance. You remain open to his leading, even if it takes you in unexpected directions. Remember, peace isn't something you create. It's something you receive when you're aligned with God's will. And when you feel it, cherish it. Let it guide your decisions. Let it anchor your relationship. Let it remind you that you're exactly where you're meant to be. Here's the bottom line. God doesn't want you to live in a state of confusion or chaos. He wants to guide you toward the person he has for you with clarity and peace. So when you feel that deep, unshakable calm in your spirit, trust it. Trust him, because the right relationship, the one ordained by God, will always bring you closer to his peace, his purpose, and his love. And as you walk in that peace, let it be a reminder that God's plans for you are always good. He's not just giving you a partner, he's giving you a glimpse of his grace. So hold on to that peace, Let it lead you, and trust that God's best for you is worth every moment of waiting. When God begins aligning your life with someone he has chosen for you, there is a powerful and unmistakable sign. Purpose becomes the foundation of your connection. The relationship transcends mere companionship and evolves into something deeper, a partnership designed to fulfill a divine purpose. This isn't just about two people coming together for their own happiness, though joy is certainly a part of it. It's about two lives interweaving to accomplish something greater, something that reflects God's glory and brings light to others. Purpose is not a shallow or fleeting idea. It's rooted in the understanding that your life is part of a grander design, a divine plan. When God brings the right person into your life, they won't just compliment you. They'll challenge and inspire you to step into your calling. They'll see the gifts and potential in you that you may not even fully recognize in yourself, and they'll push you to pursue them with boldness. They won't let you settle for mediocrity because they see the greatness God has placed within you. And you, in turn, will do the same for them. Let's be honest. Many relationships falter because they lack this sense of shared purpose. They're built on fleeting emotions, temporary attractions, or surface-level connections. But when God is at the center, he builds relationships differently. He doesn't just bring two people together for the sake of being together. He unites them to accomplish something significant, something that aligns with his kingdom. And that's why the person God has for you will always bring clarity, not confusion. They'll help you see the path God is laying before you, and you'll feel a renewed sense of purpose in their presence. This kind of partnership requires more than chemistry or shared interests. It demands alignment. Alignment in values, vision, and faith. When you and this person come together, it will feel as though the pieces of a puzzle are clicking into place. Your individual callings will complement each other, and together, you'll be able to achieve things that neither of you could have done alone. This doesn't mean your paths will be identical or that you'll share every goal, but your overarching vision for life will resonate deeply. It's this alignment that creates the foundation for a relationship rooted in purpose. Now, here's the thing. Walking in purpose isn't always easy. It requires sacrifice, perseverance, and a willingness to trust God even when the road ahead isn't clear. But when you're with the right person, the one God has placed in your life, they will be your partner in the journey. They'll pray with you, stand beside you, and encourage you to keep going even when the challenges feel overwhelming. They won't be a distraction or a detour. They'll be a source of strength and support. Together, you'll face the ups and downs, not as individuals, but as a united front. The beauty of a purpose-driven relationship is that it doesn't just benefit the two of you, it impacts the world around you. When two people come together under God's guidance, their love becomes a testament to his goodness. Their partnership becomes a reflection of his love, a light in a world that desperately needs hope. And that's the ultimate goal. To glorify God through your relationship, to show others what it looks like to love, serve, and honor each other in a way that points back to him. But how do you know if a relationship is truly purpose-driven? Start by asking yourself this: does this person inspire me to draw closer to God? Do they encourage me to live out my faith boldly? Are we building something together that has eternal significance? If the answer is yes, then you're likely walking in the kind of partnership that God intends. But if the relationship feels stagnant, if it pulls you away from God or distracts you from your calling, it's worth reevaluating. God's purpose for your life is too important to compromise for the sake of a relationship that isn't in alignment with his will. One of the most profound signs that God is guiding your relationship is the sense of peace and clarity that accompanies your shared purpose. You'll feel a deep assurance that you're on the right path, even when challenges arise. This peace doesn't mean the absence of difficulties, but it does mean the presence of God's hand in your journey. And when you have that, you can move forward with confidence, knowing that you're not just building a life together, you're building a legacy. In the end, a purpose-driven relationship isn't just about finding the right person, it's about becoming the right person. It's about stepping into the fullness of who God created you to be and finding someone who does the same. Together, you become a force for good, a reflection of God's love and grace, and a testament to his perfect plan. So, if you're waiting for the person God has for you, Don't just pray for someone who will make you happy, pray for someone who will walk in purpose with you, someone who will challenge you to grow, inspire you to dream, and partner with you in fulfilling God's plan. Because when you find that person, you'll know this is more than love. This is purpose. This is destiny. This is God's best for your life. When God is preparing you for the right person, one of the most transformative signs you'll encounter is a season of personal growth. It's not just about finding someone to walk through life with, it's about becoming the person who can walk into a God-ordained relationship with strength, wisdom, and humility. This season is not always easy, but it is absolutely necessary. Because before God entrusts you with the right partner, He first ensures that you are ready to steward the gift of love in alignment with His will. Growth is rarely comfortable, and it doesn't always look the way we expect. You may find yourself facing challenges that stretch you in ways you didn't anticipate. Perhaps it's a test of patience, learning to trust God's timing instead of rushing ahead with your own plans. Maybe it's a lesson in forgiveness as you let go of past hurts and allow your heart to heal. Or it could be a call to deeper faith, where you're asked to surrender control and lean into the promises of God, even when the future feels uncertain. Whatever form it takes, this season of growth is a divine setup. God is refining you, molding you, and shaping you into the person He created you to be. He's teaching you how to love unselfishly, how to communicate with grace, and how to build a relationship that reflects His character. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about becoming a person who can partner with someone else in a way that honors God and brings out the best in both of you. Sometimes this growth requires letting go of what no longer serves you. It might mean walking away from relationships that are rooted in compromise instead of conviction. It might mean setting boundaries with people who drain your energy or distract you from your purpose. These moments of letting go can be painful, but they're also powerful, because when you release what's holding you back, you make space for what God is bringing into your life. And let's talk about healing. So many of us carry wounds from our past, wounds from failed relationships, broken trust, or unmet expectations. But here's the truth. God doesn't want you to enter into a new relationship carrying the baggage of the old. He wants to heal those wounds so that you can love freely and fully. Healing isn't always linear, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it's a process worth embracing. Because when you allow God to heal your heart, you're not just preparing yourself for a relationship, you're setting the stage for a love that's rooted in wholeness and authenticity. Now, here's the thing about growth. It often happens in the quiet moments. It's in the private conversations you have with God, where you lay your fears, doubts, and dreams before Him. It's in the times when you choose to do the hard work of self-reflection, asking yourself, what kind of partner do I want to be? What kind of love do I want to give? It's in the choices you make every day to live with integrity, to pursue your calling, and to align your actions with your faith. During this season, God may also bring people into your life who serve as mentors, friends, or guides. These individuals can help you see your blind spots, encourage your growth, and remind you of God's faithfulness. Don't underestimate the value of these connections. They're often part of God's plan to prepare you for what's ahead. And here's the beautiful part. As you grow, you'll start to notice a shift in your perspective. You'll stop fixating on what you're waiting for and start focusing on who you're becoming. You'll realize that this season of preparation isn't just about finding the right person. It's about becoming the person who can build a relationship that honors God, uplifts others, and stands the test of time. So what does this mean for you right now? It means embracing the process. It means trusting that the discomfort, the challenges, and even the delays are part of a greater plan. It means believing that God is not just preparing you for a relationship, He's preparing you for a partnership that will glorify Him and bring joy to your life. And when that person finally enters your life, you'll recognize them not because they check off every item on your list, but because they align with the person God has been shaping you to be. They'll complement your growth, not compete with it. They'll support your purpose, not distract you from it. And together, you'll be able to step into a relationship that's built on a foundation of faith, love, and mutual respect. So if you're in a season of growth, take heart. God is not delaying His blessings. He's preparing you to receive them. Trust the process, Lean into the lessons and know that when the time is right, God will bring someone into your life who will walk with you, grow with you, and love you in a way that reflects His perfect plan. Because in the end, the wait isn't just about finding the right person. It's about becoming the person who's ready to embrace the fullness of God's best. And when that moment comes, you'll know it was worth every step of the journey. Key point 5, you'll experience a deep, God-centered peace that surpasses human understanding. When God is revealing who you're meant to be with, one of the most unmistakable signs is an overwhelming sense of peace. Deep, unwavering, and unshakable. This is not the kind of peace that comes from worldly circumstances, nor is it a fleeting feeling tied to external validation. This is the kind of peace that only God can give, a peace that transcends human logic and understanding. It's a divine assurance that whispers to your soul, "This is the path I've prepared for you." Now, let me be clear, peace doesn't mean perfection. A God-ordained relationship isn't free from challenges or moments of doubt. It's not a fairy tale where everything magically falls into place. Instead, it's a partnership where even in the face of uncertainty, there is a calm assurance that God is in control. It's the ability to look beyond the temporary trials and see the eternal purpose behind them. This peace doesn't shout. It doesn't demand your attention or try to convince you. It's quiet, but it's powerful. It's the still, small voice of the Holy Spirit confirming that you're exactly where you need to be. And here's the thing about God's peace. It's not something you have to chase. When you're aligned with His will, it finds you. It settles in your heart and makes its presence known in the moments when you need it most. You might be wondering, how do I recognize this kind of peace? Let's start with what it's not. God's peace is not rooted in fear or anxiety. If you feel constant tension, doubt, or unease in a relationship, that's a sign to pause and seek God's guidance. The enemy often uses confusion to cloud our judgment, but God is not the author of confusion. He is a God of clarity and order. His peace doesn't leave you second-guessing or feeling trapped. Instead, it brings freedom, joy, and confidence. When you're with the person God has for you, this peace will extend to every aspect of the relationship. It will show up in how you communicate, how you resolve conflicts, and how you grow together. It will feel like a safe space where you can be your authentic self, free from judgment or pretense. You'll find that the relationship isn't just about you and your partner, it's about glorifying God together. That's the kind of peace that comes when God is at the center. But let's talk about what happens when you don't feel this peace. If you're forcing a connection, ignoring red flags, or compromising your values, that uneasy feeling is God trying to get your attention. He's saying, "This isn't my best for you." And let me tell you, it's better to endure a temporary disappointment than to step into something that wasn't meant for you. Because when you settle for less, you rob yourself of the greater blessing God has in store. Now, this doesn't mean the right relationship will always feel easy. Every relationship requires effort, commitment, and sacrifice. But the difference is, with the right person, even the hard times will feel purposeful. You'll face challenges not as adversaries, but as partners. You'll navigate storms not with fear, but with faith. That's what God's peace does. It equips you to handle life's uncertainties with grace and strength. You have far more control because the challenges are put forth you by your virtue, not your vice. There's also a ripple effect to this peace. When you're in alignment with God's plan, the people around you will notice. Your friends, your family, they'll see the difference in how you carry yourself, in how you approach the relationship. They might say things like, "You seem so happy," or "This feels so right." That's not just coincidence, that's confirmation. God's peace isn't just internal, it overflows into your interactions and becomes a testimony to others. This peace also fuels your faith. When you experience it, you're reminded of God's faithfulness. You begin to trust Him more deeply, not just in your relationships, but in every area of your life. You start to see that His plans are always better than your own, that His timing is perfect, and that His love is unending. So what does this mean for you right now? It means seeking God first. Before you seek clarity about a relationship, seek His presence. Spend time in prayer, in His word, and in stillness. Ask Him to guide your steps and to reveal His will. And then trust Him. Trust that He knows what's best for you, even when it doesn't align with your own expectations. When you feel that peace, hold on to it. Let it be your compass. Let it guide your decisions, your actions, and your heart. Because God's peace isn't just a feeling, it's a promise. It's His way of saying, I've got this. I've got you. So as you navigate the journey of love and relationships, remember this: God's peace is your anchor. It's the assurance that no matter what comes your way, you are exactly where you're meant to be. And when you find that peace in a relationship, you'll know you found something worth cherishing. In the end, God's peace isn't just about finding the right person. It's about becoming the person who can steward His blessings well. And when you align yourself with His will, you'll discover a love that reflects His grace, His goodness, and His glory. Trust the peace, trust the process, and trust the God who holds your heart. Key point 6, God will align your paths in a way that only He can orchestrate. When it's time for God to reveal the person He has chosen for you to marry, one of the most undeniable signs is divine alignment. This isn't something you can force or manufacture. It's a masterpiece of timing, circumstances, and purpose coming together in a way that only God could design. You'll look back and see how every twist, every turn, every delay, and every detour led you to this moment. It's a realization that fills you with awe and gratitude, because you'll know deep down, this wasn't coincidence. This was God's hand at work. Divine alignment is when your life and theirs intersect at just the right time. Not too early, not too late. It's not about two people meeting by accident. It's about two destinies converging for a greater purpose. And when God orchestrates this kind of union, it's never just for your happiness. It's for His glory. The relationship becomes a reflection of His love, His faithfulness, and His power to make all things work together for good. Now, let's be honest, waiting for God's timing isn't easy. We live in a world that encourages us to take matters into our own hands, to chase after what we want, instead of trusting that God will provide what we need. But here's the thing: when you try to rush ahead of God, you risk settling for something that's less than His best. You might find yourself in relationships that feel good temporarily, but leave you empty in the long run. That's why patience and faith are so critical. Trusting in God's timing is an act of surrender. It's saying, Lord, I trust that you know what's best for me, even when I can't see it yet. Sometimes God's alignment requires us to be in a specific place spiritually, emotionally, or even physically before He brings us together with the person we're meant to marry. It might mean healing from past wounds, growing in our faith, or stepping into our purpose. And the same goes for the other person. God might be working on them just as much as He's working on you. He's preparing both of you so that when your paths finally align, you'll be ready to walk together toward His purpose. Think about the story of Ruth and Boaz in the Bible. Ruth didn't set out to find a husband. She set out to honor God and serve her mother-in-law, Naomi. But in her obedience, God led her to Boaz. Their meeting wasn't random. It was divine alignment. And the beauty of their story isn't just that they found each other. It's that their union became part of God's greater plan, leading to the lineage of Jesus Christ. That's the kind of alignment we're talking about. One that goes beyond personal happiness and contributes to God's kingdom. Another key aspect of divine alignment is that it often comes with confirmation. When God is in it, He doesn't leave you guessing. You'll see signs, hear words of encouragement, or feel a deep sense of peace that assures you this is His will. The people who know you best, your family, your friends, your mentors, will often see it too. They'll affirm what you're feeling, not because they're trying to influence you, but because they can sense God's hand in it. And let's not forget, alignment doesn't mean perfection. Even when God brings two people together, there will still be challenges. But the difference is, you'll face those challenges with a shared sense of purpose and a commitment to honor God in everything you do. Your relationship will become a partnership, a team effort where both of you are working together to fulfill God's calling on your lives. That's what makes a God-ordained marriage so powerful. It's not just about love, it's about mission. So how do you know if God is aligning your path with someone else's? Start by seeking Him first. Spend time in prayer, read his word, and ask him to guide your steps. Pay attention to the doors he opens and the ones he closes. Trust the process, even when it feels slow or uncertain. And most importantly, don't settle for anything less than his best. Remember, the right person will complement your purpose, not compete with it. They'll challenge you to grow, not hold you back. And they'll inspire you to love God even more, not less. When you finally meet the person God has for you, it won't feel like a struggle or a compromise. It will feel like a divine connection, two lives perfectly aligned by his grace. You'll look back and realize that every season of waiting, every moment of doubt, and every prayer you prayed was worth it, because what God has for you is always worth the wait. So if you're in a season of waiting right now, take heart. God hasn't forgotten you. He's working behind the scenes, orchestrating something far greater than you could ever imagine. Trust him, stay faithful, and keep your heart open to his leading. When the time is right, he'll bring you together with the person he's prepared for you. And when that happens, you'll know without a doubt it was worth every moment of the wait.